If my day job is too demanding of me, then I get so burnt out so quickly. And also the job interview I just had. I'm at a place where I really hate my body, but I hate it to the point where I don't even want to do anything about it. I think that's where like lots of people that work in agencies might have the incorrect perspective of someone that works in-house, but they were basically just like, yeah, I just don't think agency life is for you. I don't think you can handle it. Good morning. It is like 8:30. I have not done this style of talking day in the life video in a really long time, but I usually don't bother getting ready at all since I work from home. But today, I'm actually gonna get ready to make myself feel better. I think just recently, I've been feeling in a bit of a rut, a bit of a funk, and I also have an interview today, so I want to just make myself mentally and physically feel better. It's literally a phone interview, so she's not even gonna see me, but it's fine. This is still good for the mind, if anything. I'm also nervous about the phone interview too. I just feel like I'm so rusty. I've not interviewed in so long that, yeah, it just feels like I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Like at this point, I have the most experience that I've ever had in my life, career-wise, but it still doesn't feel like enough. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people can attest to the fact that the job market is just at a really hard spot right now. Feeling hopeful though. With my literal morning voice. I'm also trying to talk to warm up my vocal cords for my interview. It's like later today, so. But that's just the reality of working from home, is sometimes I just do not talk for the majority of the day. I don't really, because I also don't really have a lot of meetings. I got notified yesterday that my contract is not getting renewed, so I think I just feel a little bit fragile right now. I did see it coming, so it wasn't like a huge panic. So thankfully I do have like an interview today already. It's still definitely not an ideal situation and not where I'd like to be, but I did tell myself like if the contract ended and I don't have a full-time job lined up and it's summertime, then I might as well travel and give myself permission to just relax for a little bit. So I think that's probably what I'm going to be doing. I don't know travel to where yet, but I do want to just do something fun for myself. And I have a feeling that this unemployment journey might be longer than I realized. Because last year when I was looking for a job, it also took a really long time. Every time I do my makeup, I'm always so impressed at how bad I am at it, because I grew up really loving to watch all those Asian beauty YouTubers, but I like retained nothing. But I think also they had just different eye shapes than I do. So this really had to just be a learn by doing type of situation. Part of being in a rut right now also just means that I'm at a place where I really hate my body, but I hate it to the point where I don't even want to do anything about it. So it's past failure at this point. So I think that's also been very challenging for me mentally. It's just me versus me right now. Okay, just a lot of fighting myself. But yeah, I feel like it was a period of time. There always is a period of time. It just comes in it's seasons where like I will get up and I'll like do a little home YouTube workout, or I'll go on like a 20-30 minute walk. And yeah, in those moments, like I know I will feel better, and it's just been really challenging for me to force myself to do it. And I also know that sometimes it just takes repetition. Like you just have to do it so often and so consistently that your body is almost like confused if you don't do it, you know? I will probably try to go on a walk this morning just because it's so nice out, but part of me also feels like I've wasted time because I got up a little bit later than I intended to. So it feels like I don't have enough hours now. Yeah, it's like 9 and my interview is at 11. So I also just want to get work done before my interview too, and like do a little bit more prep. And we'll just take my notes on a walk. so I could get some fresh air. The sun is out. It's starting to feel more and more like summertime down in Southern California, so yay. This is not going to be a day in my life. Like, that's too much. I personally do not know how people film that. Like, everything just takes like 10 times longer. I feel like I did try to do that when I was unemployed last year, and maybe that will make a comeback when I'm unemployed again this summer. So, we'll see. Pre-interview jitters. I'm so stressed I could poop my pants. I feel like I do fine with phone interviews because I can have all of my notes in front of me, at least. So it's gonna be okay, but it's still understandable if I'm stressed because it is stressful applying for jobs. But I think something I've been just trying to keep in mind is thought process of like, when I'm interviewing for a role, I'm also interviewing them and the company to see if I think it would also be a good fit for me professionally, for my career, and all of that. So that we're both interviewing each other. And I also heard advice once that I thought was really good. Just that, like, nobody likes the interview process, you know? No one is really internally, like, for a team, nobody's like, OMG, jumping for joy. Like, I'm so excited to go through the hiring process, you know? No one enjoys that. And now there's just so many applicants, and so I've heard a lot of people talk about how there's a lot of unqualified applicants, like in a sea of thousands of resumes, like genuinely maybe 20 make the cut. So it's just so easy for your application to get lost in the mix, which is not the most, encouraging. But yeah, just knowing that I can make it this far, that I can get an interview, that's already a good sign. And I just need to, this is literally just the first one. It's just the people and culture one. I like to think that I'm a good person and I get along with people and it's easy for me to connect with people. So I feel like I'm easy to talk to and easy to have on a team, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm so stressed for this one. I'm stressed for every single interview, I take every single one seriously. Okay, it's in 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I also hate the feeling of a dry mouth during an interview. So I'm like trying to stay hydrated, like when your lips touch each other. So trying to stay hydrated. Literally calm down. It's gonna be fine. It's like serious, but it's like not that serious. It's not that serious. And I think I'm also feeling stressed having to go through this experience of like telling people that my contract is not being renewed. Because it's like,
oh my gosh, like what happened? Or like why? Why aren't they renewing it? Like what are you gonna do now?
just all those follow-up questions. Just okay, bye. See you on the other side. Taste test back in my room because my grandma was cooking lunch and it was getting quite rowdy down there. Oh my gosh, this color! Not to sound like a matcha snob, but this color. The last bag that I was using for my matcha was not good. It was not good. It was from some random tea store in Japan. Granted, it was not very expensive. It was like maybe like $15 for 50 grams. So I was like, it can't be bad. Like, I'm in Japan. Turns out, it can be bad. I usually like using glass straws, but after hearing about the whole the frigging glass shards in your stomach because of the ice, I guess I'll use a metal straw. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I did not make matchas at home for several months because that bag of matcha was just so not good, but I was like, I have to get through it before I can get to my glorious collection of other matcha that I got from Japan that is actually legit. This one, 50 grams of this, thank God. The OGs know it by its original packaging though. Look at this. This is from my very first time in Japan a few years ago. I got this matcha, and this is the same brand as the one that I just opened, but I guess they changed their packaging because now it does not look like this. The new packaging is really nice though. It's like matte. This one is like paper. The new packaging is definitely a lot more secure. So good. And also the job interview I just had. The job interview went well. I have a whole page of notes that I took about the role and definitely very excited. Like, I feel a lot better about this interview process after having had this first initial conversation with someone from the people and culture team, thankfully. It is hybrid, which I'm actually a little bit excited about because I just am always at home. I'm always at home. I never go outside. And it's so hard for me to get outside. So it would be nice to, I can't believe I'm saying this. Everyone that knows me is like, what the heck, who is she? But yeah, it would be kind of nice to go into the office occasionally and talk to real humans and connect face to face with real people, not just on my screen. With most of the people at my current job, I haven't met any of them. I've met 3 of them only because we used to work together. And then I got a referral at this company that I interviewed for because I used to work with this girl. But she's also one of my good friends. She has been on the YouTube before. So, yeah, shout out. You know who you are. Shout out to everyone that's ever referred me for a job. Because why does it feel like I'm always looking for a job? Like, it just constantly has felt like I've been looking for a job for so many moons. I have honestly always wanted to work at a design agency, but I've never really found a way to get in. I think a lot of design agencies want you to have experience with an agency. So that's the classic, like, you need experience to get experience. But overall, feeling better. My general vibe has improved since this morning for sure, because I drank the matcha and I had a good interview. And I actually got ready today. Granted, I am wearing stretchy pants and the biggest t-shirt that I own, but feeling good. I think in general lately, I've just been feeling an overall bleakness at life, just feeling sad and just kind of at a crossroads. I think with my current role ending, I really liked this role. Well, 50-50. This role was fun in the sense that it was very flexible. I got to work fully remote. I just have to work West Coast hours. But because it's a contract role, I don't have paid time off. And even on holidays, I don't get paid for holidays. If I don't work, I don't get paid. So that really sucks. But I was really grateful that this agency that hired me, like that I was hired through, they did have benefits, which I feel like is so rare for a creative contract role. So that helped a lot, just like peace of mind, knowing that I had medical insurance, that I had a 401k that I could contribute to, but no match or anything like that. It was just kind of like bare bones, but it was like good, it was better than most contract gigs are. But I do kind of just feel like a little bit stuck in my career. I think I've just been thinking a lot about how I've just felt scared to dream. Well, not scared. I don't know how to dream anymore. I don't know how to think big and really want a job. There has been so many that I've applied for recently because, yeah, I feel like there's more demand for creative roles, which is exciting, at like big name companies, because I think for a while I had felt too junior for all of them. But now that I have more experience under my belt, it is exciting to finally feel like I've unlocked the mid-level to senior kind of roles. A lot of my friends from college that work in different industries and different job titles, a lot of them have already reached senior, and I haven't yet, and I know it's not it's like not worth comparing because we work in different industries and roles, but it just does kind of suck feeling like, okay, we worked like the same amount of years, but I haven't hit a senior level role yet. But I think my friends have all stayed very consistent with their companies that they've worked for, while I have job hopped quite a bit. I feel like I have a reasonable amount of previous companies considering I'm like a COVID grad, but I've worked at 3 companies now and freelanced for 3, 2 or 3. And those have all been like a lot of intersecting timelines. So I started off when I'd first graduated doing freelance stuff. But yeah, sometimes I do want to talk more about like design, my design background and all of that, because I was talking to a friend like last year about how it's so interesting now that with this rise of a lot of digital creators in lots of different industries, it is a lot more accessible now to look up different roles and hear from people that work those jobs. When I was in college, no, when I was in high school, not to sound like friggin' ancient, but when I was in high school, I didn't know what it meant to be like a graphic designer. I didn't really know what that looked like because it's not that google.com was not there yet, but there just wasn't a lot of information out there on what this role entailed. It was very vague. It was a lot of print stuff, and it wasn't until I was in college and first graduated that working in the digital space had boomed a lot more, in my opinion, in a way that was like very junior friendly. I think for a while working in digital kind of looked like you were doing like advertisements, like you were doing Super Bowl ads and you were doing TV ads and like marketing in that sense. But with the rise of digital marketing in social media spaces, I think, yeah, it's just made way for a lot of more interesting roles that I'm interested in that I didn't know existed before. So even now, and even with like some of the previous roles that I've held, it's just been really interesting seeing it all come together and feel like with all of the stuff that I've learned with all these different roles, like what does that look like? What is my dream job? I don't think I have a dream job anymore, not to sound bleak in any sense, but I've been seeing a lot of conversation too on Substack of how your dream job just might have to be something that you create for yourself. Like if there is this very specific role that you have in mind, a specific title that might not even yet exist, you have this unique opportunity where you can advocate for yourself and create this role in a sense. I don't think I'm at that place yet. I feel like I would need another maybe like 3 to 5 years of work experience to feel more secure in my sense of self and like confident in what I can offer as a creative and as a designer. And yeah, but I've always told myself that I never really want to be a manager. I just don't love the idea of managing people and teams. I think I would just want to be a senior for as long as I live. I don't feel like at this point in time, my goal is a creative or art director role because I just don't think that I have that visionary like sense. I just don't think what is the word I'm thinking of? It's honestly astounding to me how there are genuinely no good angles in my room. No matter where this camera is situated, just disastrous. Nothing looks good. The only good view is probably this way towards my computer, but that means I have to set up a tripod, like, in the middle of the room, willy-nilly, and I just can't be doing that. That's too much for me. That's too much. So, a lot of people have talked about, the horrors of looking for a job right now, so I don't think I have anything new to add to that conversation that's been happening for a few months now, a few years, honestly. So I think this job interview that I just had definitely gave me, I'm excited again. I'm excited for life. I struggle a lot with this dichotomy, this push and pull of work is everything versus like living to work versus working to live. I've talked about this so many times, probably. I still struggle with that. I think I've just been stuck in this loop where if work is not creatively stimulating enough, then off work hours, I'm just like, I'm not even in the mood, to pursue things creatively, which is why I feel like my YouTube channel is like so just cobwebs, I feel like I have ideas, but I don't always have the energy or creative juice in me to, pursue any of them. So I just have like this long list on my phone of like ideas, but then I don't do anything. If my day job is too demanding of me, then I get so burnt out so quickly that when it comes to the 5 to 9, I'm just like, horizontal. You just gotta leave me alone. I just cannot be bothered. I'm like very aware that it is a very, very fine line for myself that I'm still struggling to find the balance of. Currently, freelancing I thought would be a little bit more creatively fulfilling for me. This role specifically is a lot more cookie cutter than I had anticipated. There is some push for creative exploration, and the creative director that I work under is still she like encourages that a lot. And yeah, but I just feel like in general the role itself is not very creatively challenging and nor creatively interesting. So I think it's just like really hard for me to find something in that very perfect sweet spot, which is also why I want to work at an agency, even though working at an agency genuinely seems so challenging sometimes because of the pace. And like I've just heard it's like really fast paced. There was one time that I had reached out to a friend from college. We don't keep in touch, like we're not as close anymore, but this friend was working at an agency that I was interested in applying for. So I wasn't asking for a referral necessarily, but it was more so like, can I get some insight onto like how you've liked the team, how you've liked this role? Because they just went straight to an agency after graduating, whereas I had worked in-house as a graphic designer. So I wanted to just to get a little bit of a different perspective. And we'd worked on lots of projects together in college. So I thought that our working style would be similar and maybe they can provide some insight onto the agency life. And they were very honest with me. This is a very like candid person. So honesty, I appreciate that. But they were basically just like, yeah, I just don't think agency life is for you. Like, I don't think you can handle it. I feel like you're very married to your work and you don't take creative criticism very well. Not in a bad way, because it is important to care about your work. But when you work at an agency, these clients are so big, because a lot of agencies work for lots of big brand name clients, that like you get very little agency at these creative jobs. Like you have like very little say sometimes. Like you just have to run with it. Even if you don't agree with it, you have to just go with it. I think that's where like lots of people that work in agencies might have the incorrect perspective of someone that works in-house, because that is not unique to working at an agency, in my opinion. That is very much so the case when you work in-house and also as a freelancer. It's just kind of part of being a graphic designer, in my opinion. Granted, I don't know if this person would have the same perspective specifically about me or about the role anymore, because this was like a year or two after we had graduated college. So I feel like we were still pretty young and fresh in our careers. Still very junior. I will never forget that conversation though, of them just being like, yeah, I don't think this is for you. I don't think you'd be good at this. I don't think you'd adapt well. I feel like you'd be better in-house. Like, yeah. But I also feel like agency designers, from what I've heard on a very, like, very, very general sense, is, yeah, agency designers think more highly of themselves than in-house graphic designers. But I personally feel like everyone is kind of in the same boat. We're dealing with insufficient briefs. We're dealing with lots of stakeholders with lots of opinions. We're dealing with strict brand guidelines. And you're like, zhuzh it up a little bit, but it's like, but stick within the brand guidelines. And we're dealing with clients not knowing what they want. I'll know it when I see it. Could you just make the logo a little bit bigger? Can you just tweak this a little bit? Can you just change the color? Actually, can you just change it back? Why did you do it this way? Do it this way. Actually, I liked your first way. Like, you know, that kind of communication with clients and whoever your client is. It could be literally marketing team. It could be someone from social. It could be the head of brand marketing from a big name client at an agency. You know, like at the end of the day, like we're all working under similar circumstances. So the more that I have had experience in in-house roles and freelance and contract gigs, the more I've learned that, you know, we're not so different after all. Every graphic designer is struggling with the same things. In some ways, thinking about that and focusing on that is just like so negative and is so bleak. It's just like, oh my gosh, life is just gonna suck forever. But I think there is some freedom to that too, of just kind of accepting it and moving on. I've been working as a graphic designer for several years now. Not that many years. I've been working as a graphic designer for a good amount of time now, in my opinion, and I've learned a lot. So sometimes I feel like talking about this online. Oh, back to my original thought that I had like 7 minutes ago that I didn't finish expanding on. Sometimes I feel like it would be interesting to talk about being a graphic designer because so many people can relate, or so many people are like interested in this. Like there are so many really great, really cool graphic design content creators on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, like all the different platforms. And I've learned so much from them too. From small business owners to freelance graphic designers, people who have started their own brand studio. Like I've just learned so much. So I always think it's interesting to learn from other people. And I feel like my personal take is it's just like be a lifelong student. There's so much to learn. There's so much to go around, and this industry is constantly changing the same way that the social space is changing. We have this lovely introduction of AI a lot, so I think creatives are just at a very unique intersection right now when it comes to being a tastemaker and being a creative, and then also learning to juggle a lot of upper management wanting us to use AI in our daily workflows. So I think there's just a lot of change all the time, and it's just like how well can you adapt to this change rather than be scared of it and freak out every single time, because you're just going to live a life of constant terror if you're not able to adjust and adapt quickly enough or even be open-minded. So yeah, those are the things that I've learned. I don't even know what the point of this video was. I'm really excited about this role that I'm interviewing for, so hopefully it'll be all positive news. But yeah. There's 2 more steps of this interview process that I need to go through, 2 more hoops to jump through. So I'm pretty nervous for this next one because it's a portfolio review, and I've actually never done an in-depth portfolio review for an interview before. The recruiter I was talking to today was like, yeah, expect to, share your screen, walk through your projects. I wasn't expecting to have to do that today either, but they did ask me like, can you walk me through one of your like favorite projects, one that you're most proud of? So that really put me on the spot. I wasn't preparing for that, but I think it was a good practice. Luckily, I have a week to prepare, so I will need to get on that this week. That is the State of the Union. Thank you for listening to me talk. I always forget that strangers watch this, so hope you gained something from this. Hope this was a good thing to listen to while you were working or cleaning the house or whatever it is that you were doing. Yeah, if you're a graphic designer, let me know if you want to hear more about being a graphic designer. I just feel like in previous roles that I've had that were more interesting, like when I used to work for a podcast as a freelance contract designer, or when I worked in the music industry, like sometimes I wish I capitalized on that a little bit more of like, oh, not like day in the life videos as a blank, but just that like my life was a little bit more interesting then, and now it's just me in front of my monitor for 12 hours a day. But I still think that it's really important for me to exercise these creative muscles and speaking skills too outside of work and not feel like I'm tied to my job and I identify solely with my job, which is what I would have done if I had capitalized on these creative roles previously. So, you win some, you lose some, but I'm content with where I'm at now with this relationship with YouTube and oversharing about my life and just talking. So thanks for listening, and I will see you the next time I post a video, because God knows when that is gonna be.